basketball possession, but like it doesn't matter. We lost the game. We're sitting right here, right now, and the season is over. So we just got to do. When we're in a position like that, we just got to take care of the ball. Then when we switch, I got to be up on the screen. Name hard, hit a deep three. Got to do a better job being up. Halliburton drove the ball. We fouled him.
In the NBA, respect between superstars is usually a carefully choreographed dance. But last night, that script was ripped to shreds. In a post-game interview that has sent shockwaves across the sports world, Giannis Antetokounmpo didn't just criticize LeBron James, he launched a direct, brutal, and unprecedented attack on the Kings' very legacy. When asked about chasing individual records, Giannis unleashed a fiery rant that cut to the core of modern basketball debates. "I don't play for numbers. I don't pad my stats in losing efforts. I play to win. That's the difference. Some people build their legacy on box scores. I build mine in the win column." The target was unmistakable. This wasn't this was a declaration of war. This is the full breakdown of the interview that changed everything. The stage was set after a hard-fought Milwaukee Bucks victory in early 2025. Giannis, still sweating, sat for his customary post-game press conference. The questions were routine at first about the team's defense, a key play down the stretch. Then, a reporter from a major national outlet leaned into the mic. "Giannis, you passed another career milestone tonight in rebounds. With the all-time scoring record, now held by LeBron James, and the constant discussion around triple-doubles and stat accumulation, how do you view your own pursuit of individual numbers in relation to winning championships?" For a moment, Giannis was silent, his expression turning from relaxed to intensely focused. He leaned forward, his voice low but sharpening with every word. "This is a question I get often, and I will answer it clearly, so maybe we don't have to ask it again," he began, his gaze locking onto the reporter. "I do not care about milestones. I do not care about passing this person or that person on a list. I care about the trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy." He paused, the room utterly still. "When I step on the court, my only stat is the final score. Did we win? Nothing else matters. I have seen players, great players, put up big numbers in games that are already lost. They chase rebounds, they chase points when the outcome is decided. For what? For a line in a history book? That is not me. That is not my mentality." The air left the room. Every journalist knew exactly who he was talking about. The great player's description, the big numbers in games that are already lost. It was a direct reference to the long-standing criticism of stat padding that has followed LeBron for years, especially in blowout losses. Giannis didn't name him. He didn't have to. The target was painted in neon. "If you want to know my legacy, look at the wins. Look at the championship. That is the only number that counts for me." With that, he stood up and walked out, leaving a room full of stunned reporters and a quote that was already going supernova online. The war of philosophies had just been escalated from whispered debates to a public seismic confrontation.
It's the best feeling ever. Just winning. Winning feels good. You know, playing big games feels good when you're able to come to the game and execute your game plan, and then the outcome is exactly what you want it to be. But it's not only about the game, it's about everything leading up to the game, the way you prep your body, you know, the anxious, the anxiety.
In the hyper-coded world of NBA player communication, Giannis didn't just cross a line, he obliterated it. There was no "some people say," or "I've heard critics argue." This was a personal, philosophical cannon shot aimed directly at the foundation of LeBron James's public persona, his statistical brilliance. The phrase "pad my stats in losing efforts" is not a general basketball term. It is a specific, chronic critique that has dogged LeBron James for nearly a decade. Online forums and analytical deep dives have long highlighted moments in fourth quarters of decided games where LeBron, with his team down 15 points, remains on the floor to accumulate a final rebound or assist to secure a triple-double. His relentless pursuit of the all-time scoring record, while his teams sometimes faltered in the standings, has further fueled this narrative. Giannis took this niche, internet-born criticism, and launched it into the mainstream from the podium. By contrasting this with "I play to win," Giannis positioned himself as the purist, the warrior whose only metric is victory. It framed LeBron's historic statistical achievements not as a byproduct of winning, but as a potential alternative to ETA, pursuit of personal legacy over team success. This strikes at the heart of the GOAT debate. Is greatness measured in total points and triple-doubles, or is it measured solely in championships and winning impact? Giannis's choice of words was a masterclass in intentional ambiguity with a clear target. He didn't accuse LeBron of not wanting to win. He accused him of having a different priority. In the economy of NBA insults, this is the nuclear option, challenging a rival's competitive heart and the authenticity of his legacy in one breath. It reframed their entire rivalry not as a battle between two great players, but as a clash of diametrically opposed basketball ideologies. The stat king versus the winner.
Where they ended the race for the MVP. How do you feel about them ending it before the restart? Do you feel like you put yourself back in the category? What's your thoughts on them ending it at that time?
To be honest with you, I really don't. I haven't thought about it. I saw it a couple of days ago that they ended. I tried not to focus in, MVP talks, who's the MVP and all that. My goal is to get better each day, to help my team win games, and everything going to take care of itself. That's what happened last year. I was locked in winning games and helping my.
The internet did not just react, it fractured. Within an hour, #GIANNIS and #LABRON were the top global trends on social media, not as teammates or rivals, but as symbols of a fundamental sports debate. The basketball world was instantly, violently forced to choose a side. Team Giannis roared its approval. Former players, known for their hard-nosed, team-first eras, applauded. Charles Barkley, on his radio show the next morning, thundered, "Finally, someone said it. I've been screaming this for years." The greats aren't measured by they're measured by rings. Analysts and fans who prioritize winning efficiency over raw accumulation hailed Giannis as a hero, speaking truth to power. Clips of LeBron's stat padding and old blowout losses were dug up and recirculated with a vengeance, each one captioned with Giannis's quote. For this camp, it was a cathartic release of validation of the belief that modern basketball had become too focused on individual glorification. Team LeBron fired back with historic fury. LeBron's legion of fans, fellow stars, and media allies mounted a fierce defense. The counter-argument was rooted in longevity and totality. You don't accidentally become the all-time leading scorer, a prominent sports commentator argued on air. You do that by being great for 20 years. Giannis is talking about winning. LeBron has won at every single stop: Cleveland, Miami, LA. His stats are the foundation of those wins, not a separate pursuit. They painted Giannis's comments as disrespectful, reductive, and the words of a player who couldn't fathom the consistent excellence required to build a statistical mountain. The most telling fallout, however, was the deafening silence from the two principals. LeBron James posted nothing on social media. He made no comment to reporters. His silence was a wall of ice, more intimidating than any retort. Giannis, for his part, did not walk back his words. He simply posted a cryptic black and white photo on his Instagram story. Hours later, an image of a lone, weathered championship ring sitting on a hardwood floor. The caption, "One goal." The battle lines were now carved in stone, and the two superstars stood on opposite sides, letting the world fight their war.
My record is 5 triple doubles in the regulars. As you said, I don't look into stats. All I care is that we came in here, we get the job done. We got another one tomorrow. Stats are gonna be there, man. If you're on the court and you're playing and you have great teammates that they're looking for you, and you're ready and prepared and you're working on your game, stats gonna be there. And that's easy. That's the easy part. The tough part now is to, how can you make those stats count? How can it doesn't matter the triple double. I was just happy that I was able to make the right play and find my teammates, and we were able to knock down shots, threes, and it was just good offense. So that means we're getting better.
This conflict isn't new. Giannis's eruption is simply the latest, loudest chapter in a battle that has defined sports for generations. It's the eternal clash between the purist and the statistician, between the eye test and the analytics sheet. For decades, the winner was the undisputed king. Legends like Bill Russell, who prioritized defense, rebounding, and winning above all else, were the ultimate standard. Individual stats were secondary to the final score. This is Giannis's spiritual lineage, the belief that sacrifice, effort, and team success are the only true measures of greatness. The modern NBA, however, was built on the shoulders of statistical titans. Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, Oscar Robertson's season-long triple-double. Their astronomical numbers created a new mythology of individual dominance. LeBron James is the ultimate evolution of this archetype, a player whose career is a meticulously constructed monument to all-around statistical excellence. His legacy is a mountain of data, points, assists, rebounds, that is intended to be irrefutable. Giannis's attack, therefore, isn't just about LeBron. It's a rejection of the entire analytics-driven era that LeBron epitomizes. It's a player from the hustle and win school calling out the charted and measured school by saying, "I build mine in the win column." Giannis is consciously aligning himself with the old guard, suggesting that in the pursuit of beautiful data, the soul of competition, doing whatever it takes, even if it's ugly and doesn't fill the stat sheet, has been lost. This is why the comment resonated so deeply. It gave voice to every fan who thinks the game has become too transactional, too focused on fantasy basketball categories over pure victory. And it enraged every fan who believes that sustained, quantifiable excellence is the truest form of winning. Giannis didn't start a fire. He poured gasoline on a smoldering cultural divide that has existed for
Still
50
coming back,
years.
obviously. First game in quite a while, almost 7 months. So, everything that happened tonight was as expected. I think the pace, versus a team like Utah, who played with a lot of pace, a lot of movement, a lot of cutting and things of that nature, tested us, tested me, obviously. I was happy the way I was able to keep up with the guys.
Outside of the X's and O's, one thing about you is you've always prided yourself on being available. Just from a joy and fun standpoint, what was that like for you?
It was just fun to be out there with the guys, man. Like I said, it's been rough, like mentally for me. Like, it's the first time I've started.
In the age of instant reaction, LeBron James's decision to say nothing speaks volumes. It is a calculated, powerful tactic. By refusing to engage, he achieves three critical objectives that a heated retort could not. First, he refuses to legitimize the attack. Responding would pull him down into a mud fight, forcing him to defend his career on Giannis's chosen terms, the stats versus wins dichotomy. His silence implies the argument is beneath him, that his resume, for championships, for MVPs, the all-time scoring title, is its own unassailable argument. It frames Giannis as the one making noise while he, the king, continues his work. Second, the silence protects his brand. LeBron has spent 2 decades cultivating an image of magnanimity, mentorship, and being bigger than the game. A public feud, especially one sparked by such a personal charge, would shatter that carefully constructed persona. By staying silent, he maintains the high road, allowing his allies and fans to fight for him while he appears focused on the bigger picture. Finally, and most crucially, it creates an unspoken pressure. The basketball world is now watching Giannis's every move. Every missed shot in a clutch moment, every playoff loss, will be viewed through the lens of his own bold pronouncement. He has set a championship or bust bar for himself. LeBron's quiet confidence suggests he knows this. The weight of those words now rests entirely on Giannis's shoulders. If the Bucks fail to win at all, the narrative will flip, and Giannis's quote will be thrown back at him as proof of hypocrisy. LeBron's silence is not weakness. It is a patient, strategic trap.
You said, "Don't call me MVP again until I win it again." And then you won it again, and you said, "Don't call me MVP again until I'm a champion." What unfinished business was left for you there?
I always wanted to be a champion. Period. I feel like, if I kept hearing the word MVP and MVP, I just gonna settle. I'm not gonna work to be better. I never dreamed to be the MVP. I wanted to be a champion. And I didn't want to feel like, settled. Once I got the MVP, I'm like, oh yeah, I won the MVP. It's okay, whatever. I'm good now.
In the end, this is not about a single interview soundbite. It is a high-stakes gamble for both players' permanent legacies, and the final judgment will be written by the only thing that matters in sports: results. For Giannis, the gamble is immense. By drawing this line in the sand, he has bet his entire reputation on a single, brutal standard: championships above all else. If he leads the Milwaukee Bucks to another title, especially in a direct clash against LeBron's Lakers, his words will be immortalized as the fearless battle cry of a true winner. He will be seen as the prophet who called out a flawed system and then proved his philosophy right on the court. His legacy ascends to a new tier of purity and respect. But if he fails, if the Bucks fall short in the playoffs while LeBron continues to put up historic numbers, the risk becomes catastrophic. His comments will be framed as petty, jealous, and ultimately hollow. Critics will say he tried to tear down a legend because he knew he could not surpass him on the stat sheet. The winner, who didn't win enough will face a backlash more severe than any stat-padding accusation. For LeBron, the gamble is different. It is a gamble on history's long memory. His strategy is to let the full weight of his 20-year resume do the talking. He is betting that when the dust settles, the record books, filled with his name, will have the final say. A fifth championship would be the ultimate rebuttal, making Giannis's words look small and short-sighted. But even without another ring, his mountain of achievements is already built. His gamble is that time will smooth over this controversy, cementing his statistical dominance as its own form of victory. While Giannis's outburst becomes a passionate footnote, the true winner of this war won't be decided on Twitter or in press conferences. It will be decided in June, under the bright lights of the NBA Finals. Until then, the basketball world holds its breath, watching these two giants navigate the dangerous paths they have chosen. One chose to speak a volatile truth. The other chose a kingly silence. Both are betting everything that their way is the right way to be remembered forever. So, where does this leave us? In a single, unscripted moment, Giannis Antetokounmpo did what no rival has dared to do for a generation. He challenged the foundational logic of LeBron James's greatness. He shifted the debate from who is better to what is better. This story is bigger than two men. It is about every fan who has ever argued over a box score. It's about the value we assign to longevity versus peak success, to beauty versus grit, to data versus rings. That Giannis's words will echo far beyond this season. They have forced every player, analyst, and fan to pick a side in a philosophical civil war that defines modern sports. Was Giannis's brutal honesty and necessary truth-telling that exposed a stat-obsessed culture, or was it a legacy-threatening mistake that reeked of jealousy? The court of public opinion is in session. The jury is you. Let the debate rage in the comments below. If you want unfiltered breakdowns of the moments that truly redefine the NBA, make sure you're subscribed. This story is far from over.